1, 2, 3, testing. Can you hear me? I sound great. All right.
Welcome to Signal Soundbytes. I'm Brandon Peña, managing editor of The Signal, and today we are doing a roundtable discussion-ish thing. So with me today are 4 awesome co-hosts that are going to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Leif.
Hi, I'm Leif. I'm a reporter at The Signal. Interesting fact about me, I have about 2,000 roaches in my garage that I raise. They're like my babies. Yeah, they're awesome. I let them crawl on me, and I feed them to my bearded dragon. So that's me. Handing it off to the next Trey here.
Hi, I'm Trey. I'm a reporter for The Signal, and I am an unsuccessful robot sent from the future to the past to improve my skills.
Sounds about right.
Hi, I'm Savell. I'm the online editor this semester. I just found out I'm blind in one eye, so that's cool.
Hey guys, it's Lindsay. I'm the audience engagement editor for The Signal, and I love live music. My favorite band is the String Cheese Incident.
Sounds cheesy.
I think there's something we need to talk about right now, which is you're blind in one eye. How did you find this out?
I haven't been to the eye doctor ever.
And you just didn't realize it? You're just like, you never
No,
thought.
I've noticed that my right eye has deteriorated over the past, 10 years. In fact, the last time I went to go get a driver's license, they were triple asking me questions about what I was reading on the eye exam. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good to drive. Just give me the damn card.
Wait, they still gave you the license?
Yeah,
they were like, we just want to make sure you know that you're blind.
Exactly.
It's cool.
What? But by chance, I was like, well, I have health insurance now, so maybe I should go to the eye doctor. Okay. And so I decided to do that. I've been putting it off for the past 3 months. And yeah, at least my eyes are healthy, but I just can't see out of my right eye very well.
Well, so there goes your depth perception.
Well, actually,
can you still drive?
Yeah, well, at least not until my eyes get undilated. But
You're wearing some shades.
Basically, my left eye is really, really strong, and my right eye is not. So it's been compensating for all this time. And while I look at things really, really clear, and since I do all the design work and stuff, it's have I just been seeing sharply this whole time, or have I just been imagining it? Now I don't know.
What is reality?
Yeah, exactly. They put that machine in front of you to really, to measure your focal depth and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it keeps going back and forth, and I'm like, what am I even seeing? What is, real?
Well, this is real.
Yeah.
This is real.
Yeah.
So now I know.
Well,
So at some point in time,
that.
I'm going to buy some classes, but until then,
You should just keep those. Just wear them each class.
Those are sweet.
Honestly, I'd do it. They're knockarounds.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, they were very good.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, so want to start jumping into topics, guys? So Trey, why don't you kick us off with fake news?
Fake news. All right, so this has been something that's blowing up literally everywhere all the time. Everyone's screaming fake news. The president is screaming fake news at the New York Times and the Washington Post. Facebook is screaming fake news at each other constantly because that's what Facebook is good at. Mark Zuckerberg has said, we can't personally crack down on fake news. And a bunch of fact-checking websites said, no, we can crack down on fake news. You just don't want to. And then they introduced a news section. So what is fake news? What do you define as fake news?
I read a really great ClickHole article once that was Nickelodeon came and took over my school and then never left. Obviously, that's fake news, but
that's also awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, it was actually very funny.
Oh my god, did they have pictures?
No, I wish. But the storytelling was excellent because it started with the whole the dude from Guts came in and then they slimed a principal in the face. And then apparently they came into classrooms and did this every 30 minutes. As if it was a military procedure.
Oh god.
So
that's
by the end of it, the SWAT team had to come in and basically kick Nickelodeon out. It was a really great story. But obviously that's fake news because it's satire entirely.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
Right? Okay.
So fake news meant to be just stories that have falsified information with the intention to mislead the audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that fake news or is that satire?
Well, it depends on, I guess, the story, the article, right?
Yeah, I think fake news, I agree with Brandon. It has to do with satire. I think people taking things that aren't meant that maybe aren't meant to be taken true. Some people take them and run with them and just go.
Yesterday, actually, I read a Facebook post where somebody had shared it to a group, and it was like, hey, some parents may not let their kids see the new Beauty and the Beast because of this scene. And basically it was referring to one of the characters possibly being gay and having a gay open moment in the film. But the thing is that the article was actually from like a Christian,
So
Christian news source. So
They obviously had an agenda.
Exactly. There was an agenda in mind. And even then, it wasn't even that it was really news. It was like, hey, this is in the movie, so don't go see it.
See, that's hitting on it.
I think we've covered two types of fake news, as so to speak. I don't like calling it that.
There's like there's like 12 different types of fake news out there. There's fake news, which is news that's just absolutely false, which can fall under satire or clickbait or whatever you want to call it, like something funny. But it also is upfront about it. It's like The Onion. They tell you this is false. Obviously, Joe Biden was not snowboarding, and obviously the snow wasn't cocaine. That's a false story. His life is just awesome. But there's things like conspiracy websites.
Yes.
There's things that are just rumor mills. Entertainment Weekly, like that would be a rumor mill, which could be considered fake news because it's all just speculation. And junk science. You get a lot, like the autism and vaccines thing. There's no firm science behind it, but it gets spread around. So that's another type of fake news. Again, clickbait, where you see a misleading article title like, say, mothers around the country are screaming at the new Beauty and the Beast movie. And it's like, okay, well, it was one mom in Wisconsin, and she wrote something on Facebook and didn't even use all caps. Like, that's not screaming. That's not around the country. And and then hate news as well, hate speech. And then what could also fall under fake news is news websites that have a very strong political bend, state-sponsored news, straight-up propaganda can be considered fake news. So we're dealing with a pretty broad thing here, and it's really difficult to narrow that down to like, we need to get rid of fake news. Well, then we kind of have to censor all private and publicly funded news because everyone has an agenda, and especially when you're dealing with news that run off of advertising revenue.
Exactly.
It's no longer telling you the news. It's a TV channel with commercials with little bits of facts in between that may or may not keep you watching for the next commercial. So what I did find, though, when I was looking at fake news, is that there's a lot more tools out there for spotting fake news, or at least telling you like what you're going to be looking for and what you need to look out for. And one of my favorite things that I use is a little plugin for Chrome. I got it on Chrome, Safari, mobile, Android, iOS, and Internet Explorer, and it's called BS Detector. And it just puts a little banner at the top of the webpage, and it's like, warning, this website has very strong political leanings towards the left or the right. This website has been known to spout conspiracy theories. This website has been known to just outright lie. Or even, this website is satire. Like, it pops up on The Onion, and it's like, this is a satire website, in case you didn't know. It pops up on InfoWars, and it's like, this site's obsessed with conspiracies, in case you didn't know. But what do you think might be the downfall of something like that?
Who's the gatekeepers? Who's controlling
Exactly.
Yeah. So what I found out was they use a service called opensources.co, which created an algorithm that checks all of these websites as they come up. It checks the domain name. They look at the domain name. Is WordPress involved? Is it .com.co? Ironically. They look up the website and see if it's ever been searched on Snopes fact checker, if anything's come up in the past. They analyze the sources. Do the sources actually support the article? Because you'll get an article about an amendment that says that students no longer, are allowed to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance or are forced to stand for the pledge, and a link to an HR bill, and you're like, oh, okay, well, go look at that. And then there's nothing in the bill. But you see the link and you're like, oh, they've got sources. We'll go through and check sources. But the downfall of that is that, it's human run. There's always room for human error and human influence. It's open source and open submission, and it's subject to the group's ruling. But
I think that's stronger though than just being like a whitelist of websites that
Yeah, they get pretty thorough into it when they want to check these things. But at the end of the day, also, there's no such thing as an objective human. Like, there's no purely objective person. Everyone has an agenda, whether it's just to eat and procreate and sleep. So there's only so far you can go with it, unless we just give in to the machines.
I think a lot of it is, we as journalists are supposed to be objective, and I think the natural intention is to be objective and look at things in a very factual way. And I think it all kind of relies on word choice. If you use certain words, you can determine, you can really alter the way it's read. You can alter the way that a reader sees it and interprets it. I read an article by Steve Inskeep, said how to tell fake news from real news in post-truth era. And he has some really cool, just general things for you to look out for, such as, does the headline match the article? Are the quotes in context? Does the story attack a generic enemy, such as like Trump supporters, the left, Washington, those sort of like generalizations? And who is the news source? Some sites, they have very compelling stories, but do they gather their information, I guess you would say, in a very factual way? Or
professional.
Professional. Or is it just strictly leaning more towards one side of it instead of getting the full story?
I've noticed also that a lot of fake news deals with, there's a website pumping out a fake news story about Bat Boy and Bigfoot every 3 seconds, which is fine.
Leave Bat Boy out of it.
Right.
He's down there running Florida.
Well, leave Bat Boy out of it.
Scott.
Probably like Bat Man. Oh, that's copyrighted. Bat Adult. But there's always going to be stuff like that being produced. A lot of the fake news dilemma is people sharing it on social media, which is kind of how we get most of our news these days. If there's a breaking story in your area, someone somewhere is probably tweeting or posting about it. And it comes down to a lot of people just being lazy, but I don't mean that in a negative way.
I don't think it's so much laziness, because I think the scary thing to me is that people don't know whether what they're reading or not is believable.
Well, yeah.
But the thing is that you have people now that we just become so accustomed to having the information thrown at us that they legitimately don't know how to decipher it.
Yeah, but also, even if you knew how to decipher it, if you're in between classes or you're on a break at work and you see a post and it's completely just it attracts your attention and you're like, what the hell? You go and you look at it and you're like, oh my god, this is entirely false. And you see friends are posting it. Do you step in? Do you take the time to explain how and why it's false? Do you
Yes, immediately.
Yes.
Tell everybody. Repost it with an explanation.
Yes.
If you've got only 3 minutes and you've got to cite every single reason why it's false,
I'm late to class.
You gotta be a real cyber.
Or you can just say, hey, that's fake, and or false. You can look at it. If you do research yourself, you will find that out.
that is a statement that will piss off everybody on the internet.
So what I did, I ran across this
research.
yesterday, and I didn't have time, and I said, fake news. I just posted that fake news, and then I'm like, now I sound like Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So I went back and I responded to my fake news comment, and I said, I rated it. I rated it, and then I broke it down into why it was wrong. They were using one source.
Yeah.
It was a questionable article. Was it false? I don't know. I couldn't figure that out, but I couldn't confirm it either. And so you can't take these things as true immediately. And the article in question was, I don't even want to get into it. I don't want to spread that nonsense.
So that's the other thing. Don't feed the trolls. That's one of the biggest rules of the internet.
Yeah.
And at sometimes, like, responding to fake news feeds into the trolls who say, you're just censoring the real news. And it's like, no, I'm not. But every time you respond, you're just feeding into, see, they're just defending themselves because they know they're wrong. Oh my God. They're so frustrating. You anonymous imaginary person that I'm arguing with in my head.
And that's the thing. There's a million of them. There's a billion of them. You can argue all
Well, it
day,
feels that way.
and you will not accomplish anything. So
there's news articles now that are generated by computers. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
algorithm built news blurbs. How do you argue with an algorithm? How do you defend an algorithm, and how do you defend the things that you know to be true when the uphill battle of just getting rid of the things that aren't true is just overwhelming?
So
sometimes.
the way I look at it, I think, and people who are producing this stuff on purpose or with the intent of misleading people, those are the ones we need to be worried about. Like the satire, the Onion, that's good and all. You need to be aware of it, that it's fake, but I think everybody's aware that it's fake. But the stuff that's intentionally misleading, that's intentionally fake, they're betting on oversaturation. They're betting on piling on enough stuff that you can never get rid of it one at a time. So essentially you can't go one at a time and pick each fact apart. You have to go to the root of the problem, which is the rhetoric,
It's the O.J. Simpson trial. No matter how much the evidence stacks up against it, once you get that little thing running in people's heads, public perception. Public perception. But so I use these plugins, and I know that they're susceptible to communities and whatnot. But I check them once in a while. I check the websites that they've whitelisted, and I look into it, and I do my homework anyway because that's one, my job. And two, I'm just a stickler for facts and grammar and kind of an asshole. But I check into it, I look into it, and then I, just keep an eye out for my friends, and I'm like, yo, dog, that source is unreliable. You should check yourself before you wreck yourself. Snopes it, fact-checked it, PolitiFact it, Washington Post fact.
9 times out of 10, if there's something I'm wondering about and I Google it and Snopes pops up, I just, I don't even need to go on Google. But I will. I inform myself. Yeah. That's what it's about.
It's all about building habits. I'm sure we'll provide a link to all these fact-checking websites at the end of the podcast, wherever we post it. But yeah, definitely check it out. And you have to be the pool lifeguard for your friends drowning in lies.
That is a great metaphor.
Turn off the InfoWars.
Yeah.
We are all lifeguards, and it's our duty to rescue our friends from fake news.
You gotta teach these people how to swim.
From drowning in fake news.
Drowning in lies and fake news.
Alright, so moving on, we are going to talk about the smoking policy here at the UHCL. Currently, the University Life Committee has proposed for UHCL to change its smoking policy to become a tobacco and smoke-free campus. The proposed policy would change where it would prohibit people from smoking in the parking lots and on campus grounds. However, they can still smoke in personal vehicles. The current policy, approved by the University Council and President Staples back in 2014, currently you can smoke in designated areas here on campus, wherever there are signs. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? Where should smokers be smoking, if anywhere, on campus? The roof?
That would be dope.
That would be dope, actually.
I'd be down
Love to do it.
I would walk up to the roof.
Solve all the problems.
I don't even smoke, but
That's what they do in anime, right?
No, I would do that.
I wouldn't advise anybody going on the roof.
What I-
Railing system would be good.
What I wonder is, what do they... This applies to all smoking and tobacco products, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So,
You should be able to vape.
there's no actual tobacco product in vaping, but according to state law, vaping is considered a tobacco-based product.
I don't know if they
because-
extract the nicotine from tobacco.
Wow.
That's
And they can also...
It's a tobacco product. Right?
Yeah.
It's a product of tobacco.
You can get nicotine from a lot of places that aren't tobacco. I will say that. And some of it doesn't even have nicotine in it.
Right.
Some people just do it because they're quitting smoking.
I know a guy that
And the
does
flavors.
caffeine. He stopped drinking coffee and does caffeine.
There's a way to do alcohol in it.
I just found out somebody I know actually vapes essential oils.
Yeah,
Which,
like
that's cool.
so that's one way. Or dipping tobacco. Like there's no smoke generated in that. You're not giving anyone cancer with that, but you have to go to your car to dip for 5 minutes. Like, what?
Well, and if you can smoke in your car, I mean, you see everybody driving down the road, they just flick their cigarette butt out of the window. So everyone's just going to sit in their car. They're not going to put out their cigarette butt and
As
the
the
non-existent
resident cigarette smoker, I will, for myself, I know a lot of my fellow cigarette smokers throw their butts everywhere, but I put each one, I flip the cherry out and I stick it in my car.
Yeah.
My car smells like an ashtray. But
And that's my other point. So, do they
My car
expect you to
stinks.
do they want you to roll down your windows, or do they want you to hotbox it with cigarettes? Like, what about students walking in the parking lot? Is that not also school property?
Exactly.
What are they?
I mean, another thing would be also, what about students who don't have cars?
Ooh.
Where are they supposed to go?
What people would
So we
Or
just
people who have cars, but you don't have time in between classes to walk all the
Yeah.
way to their car. Just
like, do they want me to stand in the parking lot to vape? Cause like, what's the distance from parking lot to sidewalk? Am I supposed to just stand in the middle of it? Do they want me to stand on the grass? Like,
So my question is this: who wants this policy? Do any of y'all want it? Or do y'all think it's a good?
I
no?
don't smoke, and I think it's silly.
I think I deal with enough people who smoke that I would rather not see them be tortured.
Right? Exactly. You want
By not being
already
able to
so
smoke.
I mean, I don't smoke. I think that one of the concerns is for non-smokers is this secondhand smoke and having to walk through it in between the entrances. I don't know what this entrance is called, but out in the patio. When
the patio.
people are
The patio.
smoking,
Yeah.
there have been complaints that students walk through and
Right.
faculty that are smelling that or inhaling that secondhand smoke. So I mean that is a concern. I think maybe something. I wouldn't go as far as saying you can't smoke anywhere on campus. You can't smoke anywhere, even in the parking lot, because I mean that
There's
doesn't.
faculty that smoke. Like,
Yeah, I think there needs to be more of a clarification of where designated areas are and a stronger enforcement of where those areas are.
Right.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
And also,
Brandon raises a good point. Is that, I mean, as a smoker, here I am, the smoker of the group. But as I walk out that entrance over there, I've been inside this building all day. I will smell cigarette smoke all the way down that hall. So I mean, I think it should be moved, but that's a logistical problem. Banning it outright is a little.
That I understand, but also let's keep in mind, this is the same school that refuses to build a new parking lot after increasing the population of its students, like what, twofold, threefold. This is the same school that doesn't want to hire new faculty to teach these students. The school is terrible at budgeting. This is my personal opinion. I do not speak on behalf of the Signal when I say this.
This is your personal.
But no, the school decides where and what to build. Like they work with each other. They're currently replacing lights. They want to increase the Wi-Fi signal. They're trying to fix holes in the walls and bathroom problems. Like they have their own budget of what to fix and where. There are places on this campus that no one goes to, that are just untouched fields of land, and they're in between buildings, they're away from entrances. Like, there's a bench on a slab of concrete that has no sidewalk connecting to it.
I've seen that.
Why?
Nowhere near a door.
Yeah.
Nowhere near a door, nowhere near people. Like,
It's on its own.
put an umbrella over it, put an ashtray next to it, empty it out every night. Like, whatever.
I think we fixed the budgeting problem too.
Yeah, it's there, man. Like, come on. You don't have to ban people to their cars to get rid of smokers. You just relocate them, but you don't relocate them across the street because you're terrified of smoking. Smoking is more like getting cancer from smoking is more closely linked to genetics than it is to actually smoking.
Oh.
If your genetics, like if you have a long family history of lung cancer, I'm sorry, nature has determined you will die from smoking.
I had a friend who went here and was doing a research project. They were studying air pollution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he told me about it. I don't have the paper in front of me, so I could be making this all up. But I'm going from what he said. He said that they were doing a study on pollution in this area, and that on Bay Area during rush hour traffic, the pollution is so bad that it actually doubles your chances of having a heart attack. So, I mean, and then down the street, what, 2 miles, you have Goodyear, you have Lyondell, you have a smorgasbord of chemical plants, and they release chemicals, they have leaks. I've actually been driving down that street and had chemicals spray onto the car I was driving in. Yeah, it was, so I mean, cigarette smoke, it is, to me, it's like, that's...
Drop in the ocean.
That's, that's not the big problem.
That's the popular target to a much bigger
And it's easy
problem.
because cigarette smokers, they're,
We're also...
to get on my high horse, but it's the last group that it's easy to ostracize and segregate and target and speak bad
It
about. because-
smells bad. Well,
You're
your
hurting
voice is
yourself.
annoying. Like, I'm sorry. What can I tell you? But
They can't change that.
We're downwind from, 3 major airports. We're upwind from, or sometimes downwind because we're on the best latitude for jet streams right now. We're sometimes downwind from some of the largest plant hubs.
Second largest oil refinery is ExxonMobil in the United States. It's ExxonMobil in Baytown over there. So that's
not to mention the refineries that are all along Texas City. NASA's right there, and I'm sure they're not.
We're surrounded.
Yeah, we're surrounded by everything, and we're in this tiny little nature reserve. And they're like, no, but we want smokers in their cars. Like, dude, come on. Like,
and it's kind of interesting because you can't smoke in the parking lot, but you just smoke in your personal vehicle.
Right? So if I bring my personal vehicle like right up onto the steps and just chill, like, does a bicycle count as a personal vehicle? There's a question.
And then who's going to enforce it? How are they going to enforce it?
Well,
are people going to get tickets or?
Well, currently the policy says the enforcement of the university smoking policy will rely heavily on a shared responsibility of each member of the university community. As members of this community, it will be our responsibility to help educate one another and guests with regards to our smoking policy, to include directing them to the appropriate smoking areas. If community members or guests fail to adhere to our smoking policy, university police can be contacted. So,
I'm placing you under citizens' arrest.
Oh my God. We're policing each other because of smoking.
Essentially what it is.
We're turning everybody into narcs.
Okay, so what level along is this, and do students and faculty have any say in the voting process?
Currently, I believe it's just been a proposal from the University Life Committee to the UHCL. I think they had a poll for like a survey for faculty. Not sure what the results are on those yet, but it's kind of just a proposal.
Also, if smokers are hotboxing their cars in between classes and they walk into class smelling strongly of cigarette smoke, doesn't that defeat the whole point of getting the smell of smoke away from the school?
That's a good point.
That is a very good point, because if you smoke in your car with the windows up, you're going to smell like a cigarette for a really long time.
Even if you have the windows down and you're not moving, there's no airflow, or if you have the car running and it's just smoking up the parking lot with, car fumes, people.
So of the five of us here, who are smokers or tobacco users?
I consume nicotine.
Okay.
I definitely smoke.
Okay.
You can hear it.
I do not.
Okay, I don't.
I don't either.
Okay.
It gives us our radio voice.
It does.
So of us, where's your quick 30-second, this is my pitch for what the proposal should be or what the change should be, whether it should stay the same, whether it should be changed, or what's your solution?
I'm fine with us not being on the patio. There's a small gazebo outside the Student Services building that is far away enough from anyone that it doesn't bother anyone. There's ample opportunity to do something similar for the Bayou building. You put one in each corner of the school grounds and you're covered. There's no need to put us in cars, especially if, one, you don't have a car, and two, you don't want to die suffocating of smoke in a tiny box, and three, you don't want to bring that into the classroom. So just put us off to the side. We're happy there. That's my pitch.
So I noticed you missed the Arbor building. I would echo all that, but I would add in the Arbor building. Yeah. There's some back doors, a little back area. Nobody ever goes out behind the Arbor building, let's be honest. I don't have to smoke by the entrance over there. I don't want to smoke by the entrances. Honestly, it makes me feel awkward. I don't want to blow smoke in people's faces. I guess I'm the one courteous smoker. I try to wash my hands. I don't want the smell on me. But if we're gonna do something, let's move them. I'll agree. The cafe patio is an awful place to smoke.
Yeah. And I will say before this, you did go out for a smoke, and I don't smell you.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I did wash my hands.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. Just move it. I think you can make everyone happy, or for the most part happy, if you just move them away from major entrances like the patio cafe and that Bayou building entrance right there. I don't think you have to ban people to their cars, so I think it's not really going to do much.
I think it'd be neat if maybe they made a covering for the patio or something. That way you at least segregate a little bit and not really have to do a lot of construction. But really, I'm in the same vein of thought. Move it, don't ban it.
Yeah, I would definitely say move it somewhere to where it's easily accessible and away from entrances, but also help enforcing it more. So more than just student policing, saying, "Hey, you shouldn't smoke there. This is where you should smoke." I think there needs to be some kind of enforcement.
And technically, according to the signs, the older signs on the pillars on the patio, the official smoking section is 20 feet away from both entrances. It's between those two major pillars under the covered area, which leaves 1/3 on each side of that area technically non-smoking sections. You can look at the signs and be like, smoking section, non-smoking section.
But
We
nobody
just-
looks at the signs.
No one looks at the signs because they're 20 years old, A. And B, no one really enforces it because no one knows because the signs are 20 years old. Like, we can fix this. There's a solution here.
So moving on, I believe Leif, you wanted to bring up Facebook relevancy.
Yeah, well, it's been around for a while now, right?
It has.
You had to be in college to get it first, and then
I have a friend actually who was he got like a video for being on Facebook for 12 years.
Jesus.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Why?
I recently, I maybe go overboard on Facebook sometimes, commenting a lot, posting too much stuff. I mean, everybody's guilty of it, right? Maybe not. But so I was concerned about my online footprint, and what I did is I changed my name and then I deleted the account. So anywhere, it's deactivated, but anywhere my comments existed, it's under a different name now, so it doesn't. So I'm trying to clean up my online
What
footprint.
is that
I was
the
gonna
alternate name?
No, you don't get to know that.
Okay.
You know, that's for the. I don't want to.
So I had a friend who made a Facebook post last night, and I kind of told her how my feelings on Facebook are, and that I feel like Facebook creates a hostile environment for discussion as a social media platform because the only way you can actually get attention on Facebook is by making some sort of extreme statement that motivates people enough to either extremely agree with you or extremely disagree with you. There's no casual conversation anymore on Facebook. It's literally one way or the other.
Yeah. It's not a place for friends. It's a place for
Arguments.
thinly veiled debates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and if you're not in that, prospect, then everything on your Facebook page looks like it's not real life because everything is overly positive.
Nothing on Facebook is real life.
Well, of course.
Well, I mean,
But-
there's the old cliche, like, we're tired of seeing your baby. Like, we don't want to know what you ate today, like.
Yeah.
I am tired of seeing
Everybody,
it. I don't
so
want to.
then what is left after you remove all that
Exactly.
nonsensical
Why it's
stuff?
in peace.
Well,
Yeah.
memes is what's
Actually, so since having my daughter 8 months ago, the only things I use Facebook for now are for posting pictures of my baby and dog memes.
Okay.
2 things. That's it. Everything else I've moved to Twitter.
I remember when I was like a teenager and I was growing up and I'd like have my new girlfriend over, my mom would embarrass me by showing her photos of me as a baby in the photo album. Now, like, if you are born today and Facebook is still around when you're 16 or 17, there will be thousands of photos documenting
Millions.
your entire life growing up from messy, messy birth to Susie just made her first poop. It smells like whale oil. To it just the entire tract of your life is covered by someone else, and there is no privacy for you left. If you're entering high school now and you were born, like, you see what I'm saying? If you were born in like 2006, you're now 11 years old. You might be getting your first boyfriend or girlfriend. Your parents might have been covering you on social media as soon as you were born, and they can go find you. They can find you and find out if you're worthwhile by judging the last 11 years of your life, man. That's terrifying to me.
It's
Like-
very terrifying.
So that's the
Yeah.
question. Are we putting too much stuff out there? Are we relying too heavily on Facebook for this stuff?
I don't think we were ever taught how to use it.
No.
I think it was,
There was no manual.
there was no desire for it, but it came out anyway, and we just, all right.
So do y'all use Facebook the same as you used to?
I don't use it as much as I used to. I mean, now I just use it to for news and for seeing what people are doing, and
Yeah.
but mostly just for news. I don't really post anymore. I just kind of because nobody really likes my posts anyways. That's neither here nor there.
I
Post
like
it
it.
anyways.
You like my posts.
I don't see them very often though, because the
You don't.
algorithm hides you.
Exactly,
That's true.
that too.
Yeah, and the algorithm
That
hides
cool,
things.
the new see first thing. It's like certain people, and that's
Yeah,
pretty-
I tapped out.
so you can make sure you see all your fake news first, and
Yeah.
You
you're
definitely
really
need to.
informed.
No, it turns
Yes.
out I have too many friends and contacts to see first, so they just fill it up. Because anytime you like someone's like page for their business, they're like, "Oh, we'll show you a post from that," and like 4 days ago, and I'm like, Facebook. I don't.
So that's what I really wanted to get at. Is Facebook still relevant? Is there an alternative?
I think it's definitely on the dying end. I think the only people that are actually heavily using Facebook are people who just weren't really part of internet culture to begin with, and they think that Facebook is all that there is.
But I'm an anomaly, maybe, because I was around for Zynga. I was around for MySpace.
Right.
No, I
I've
was
used
too.
Twitter, and I use a lot of Facebook.
That's the other
It's-
thing. When-
I rely too heavily on it.
When we first got on the internet, we were told, don't use your real name, don't
yeah,
use
exactly.
your date of birth, don't give out your
I'm
phone
still
number.
having problems with that.
Yeah, but like, that's what we were told. So all of our first social media accounts, like, it was all stupid usernames and fake, profile pictures, and you weren't actually you, and that was okay.
See, and that's
Yeah.
actually why I like in Twitter more, because the community in Twitter is based on people who have that type of thing. It's okay to be an anime picture or whatever it is. If you have a solid opinion, it comes out as that.
You can be sassy Donald Trump on Twitter.
Exactly,
Without
yeah,
being
you can.
actual Donald Trump. Facebook didn't let you do that.
Yeah, I've started to become more involved in Twitter. Like I started to start looking at it because before it was just kind of just sitting there on my phone. I don't really look at it, but
That's how I
because I would use Facebook for my news.
It's
But
also
now
very
it's like-
MySpace-esque, isn't it?
It is.
Because MySpace originally was just you have friends, you post statuses, that's it. Or like you post bulletins and you tag your friends in it, that's it. You post a picture, they comment, they like.
Well, see, and that's the other thing too, is that with Facebook, it's so inclusive to people you know and people that they know, or people that you know that other people know.
Yeah.
But with something like Twitter, you can just jump on a hashtag, or you can just jump
Yeah.
on a single thread of somebody else's tweet.
You can
and
communicate.
you get so much more globalization just from that alone.
I guess that's my problem with Twitter, though, is like making those meaningful connections.
Right, you need
But
something to jump
But I do
onto.
want that anonymous aspect, but I want the community as well. So,
And that's the thing, is that like for me, I didn't actually start using Twitter heavily until I started following like fighting game tournaments, because they'd all use hashtags, jokes would happen in real time.
Yeah.
Things like that happened, which you don't get that on Facebook.
Yeah.
So now anytime something current happens in the world and I'm interested in a certain topic or certain thing, like today the Switch came out, so I've been following it on Twitter on how many people have been waiting in line, how many people have missed out on this, whatever dumb things have happened. Like people's Joy-Cons aren't working day one, stuff like that. It's a lot easier and more accessible for getting relevant information fast, and it's more fun. So yeah, at the end of the day, though, but then say in about 24 hours from now, I'll go read an article or something that's shared on Facebook and watch how people come and comment on that one article. It's got to be centralized discussion on Facebook, because that's how Facebook works.
and then you trying to go find a discussion on Twitter later is like
It's hard, yeah.
It's like digging through a pile of
Exactly.
Jeez.
I am using Twitter more. I agree with what you guys say. Facebook, I just use for my family. My
Yeah. It's really funny,
family
right?
lives all
How
over.
like when I joined Facebook, it was because it was not MySpace, and it was also it was still invite only to colleges. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm jumping on this, and it's it's exclusive. I don't have to worry about all my normal friends and my family, because they won't find me here.
It's the exact reason you probably left Facebook for Twitter. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
they can't find me here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, now like I said, I use Facebook for sharing my baby pictures and dog memes.
I mean, it's a phone book and it's a photo album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
A terrible photo album, by
It's
the way.
trying to be everything.
But
it is.
It's a
It is
phone.
trying to be everything.
it is trying to be everything.
It wants to be a
Yeah. And also bear in mind, that is a company running Facebook. It's not a public service. It's not a
Right.
public restroom that someone comes in and cleans up after you and uses taxpayer dollars. It is a private company. They make money off of everything you like, everything you post, everything you say. Those algorithms are organized to bring things to you. Advertising is targeted to you. They're making more money off of you than you as a person are actually worth to them.
So is that also saying, though, maybe that's why Facebook has lost its charm? It's gone from being innovative to just being...
A publicly traded company?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would argue so, because...
I think that's a deeper political discussion.
Yeah.
But it's also important because Facebook attracted us because it was a community.
Yeah.
It was a place where we could go to talk to friends. Is it so relevant anymore if it's a place to get used, essentially?
Well, yeah, you're not the customer, you're the product.
You are, yeah. You are a product.
So that's actually my main other reason for keeping Facebook, is because soon in the future I'm going to actually start a photography business. So I need to have a public face and a public, page for that.
It's more approachable than a LinkedIn.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I would
sure.
leave Facebook today if I didn't admin on pages where I needed to be. People read it.
Exactly.
You have to be there. You have to.
No,
I'd be relevant in today's society.
I treat my Facebook like a job interview. I'm very careful as to what I post on there, and I'll go back and change things. Like the year in review thing, I actually love, because it allows me to slowly edit and whitelist and blacklist my past and just alter things ever so slightly, so you'll never know if I was in a relationship with someone or if I actually was at an event. You'll never really know, because the internet's not real, kids. It's not real.
I find myself going back to all my old posts, like, I shouldn't have said that. That didn't really get many likes anyways. I'm pretty sure nobody saw that. So I'm just going to delete it now.
Yeah. My wake-up call was at the end of 2016. They posted that year-end review video, and I watched it, and it was literally just memes. It was so I was like, this is my life. My life is memes. And then it shows at the very end, it's like, how many things have you liked? It was like 50,000 likes. And I was like, what have I been doing with my life? It's like, I counted it. That's like 30 likes a day. That's where I am in my life. So I've cut back a lot.
Scroll back on what you've liked and posted in the last week and see if you remember half of it. Just do a little experiment and be like,
I try to keep them.
I don't remember.
And also, Facebook's like really complicated with all its like privacy stuff. Like sometimes you can like something, but then you thinking that you're just liking it, but then every one of your friends sees it, and it gets awkward. So then I'm more careful about what I like because I don't
weird.
want it.
Yeah. When you
I don't
see
want
someone
it.
like something, you're like, I don't think they knew everyone could see that they
Sometimes
like that.
I'll open my feed. And I'll look at the news feed like, whoa, why is that guy? No, I shouldn't be looking at it.
Well, like, I personally do not like Arby's. I don't like the food. I don't like the
But how do you feel about their social media?
Their social media is fantastic.
It is,
Their
right?
advertising is genius, but I don't actually like Arby's.
It gives me a stomachache.
So it was around the time that I got like a coupon for Arby's in the mail at my house.
Oh, wow.
And it was shortly after liking their page that I was like, no, I don't actually like Arby's. I just like Arby's. Does that make sense to you?
You
Albert?
like
Totally get it.
you like their media. You just don't like their food.
I really like their video game paper crafts.
I like
don't
what
really
they're
care
doing.
for their sandwiches,
They're speaking my language here, but I don't like Arby's.
Well, next time get me the coupons.
I've got a bundle of them because apparently I like more than Arby's.
They keep trying.
Have y'all noticed the thing about how sometimes they'll actually pick up on your voice? It's creepy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
that is
what?
creepy when you
If you-
talk
Facebook.
about something.
If you talk about something,
Now,
you'll
see,
get an ad
I
for it
do not
like
let-
half an hour
Yes.
later.
I do
That
not
is
let my
creepy.
phone.
Yeah.
Facebook cannot have control of my microphone, my
Yes.
camera, my location, my contacts. I do not give them that info.
I
I
have
don't like
people.
You're on Android, right?
I don't
See,
even
that's
like-
Always asked me to.
I don't even like
Yeah.
doing the thing for photos on Facebook. Like
Yeah.
if I try to save a photo, it won't let me until I like give it like permission. So I'll screenshot it because like, I don't. Like, I'm not gonna upload my stuff because
We'll
then
do this.
my fear is that one night I'm just gonna be like half asleep and accidentally press the button and all my photos will be uploaded to Facebook.
Oh god,
Like that would freak me out.
that's a nightmare.
I've always
All these random selfies.
Did I hit the right photo?
Yeah.
Never.
I mean,
Double check, triple check.
Yeah.
That meme's a little too spicy for this audience. They can't handle this.
I'll keep that.
They won't get the joke.
And that's what Instagram's for.
Right. No, man. Like
Instagram, I feel, is pretty solid as a social media platform. I think it's.
I
I
like
think-
Instagram.
I think people got
I think
what
if it
Instagram
stays,
is for.
I think it stays
Yeah.
literally how it is. It won't It needs to be perfect like that.
People understood what Instagram was for, and they knew what it was doing. And they're like, okay, we get this.
Yeah.
We got it. Everybody has their own little corner of Instagram, and it's the picture part of MySpace that
Exactly.
Twitter doesn't provide.
The big one right now that we haven't talked about, though, is Snapchat.
Do I look 16 to you?
You don't use Snapchat.
You don't use Snapchat?
You don't put
It
the
drains
puppy dog
my
face.
phone battery because they
It
won't
does.
fix the Android
Okay.
app.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one.
That's a technical issue. Aside from that, Snapchat was great when, I had friends in time, but
Now, have you heard about the Snap glasses?
yes.
What do you think? Is
Oh,
that
What is that?
I just found out about that literally
It's
this
like
morning.
Google Glass. It's their
Oh.
glasses,
So-
and then you push a little button, and then you get like your
You
7 to
record
10
for
second
like
recording.
10 seconds, and it's neat because it's all from your perspective.
And it
And it
goes on
lights
your
up to
story.
let your friends know that you're recording them.
That's dumb.
And then it goes to your story. Well, I mean,
You could literally just hold your phone up and get it from your perspective anyway.
Snapchat to me is like tabloid magazines for your friends. But also tabloid magazines because they sponsor Snapchat and they have their little articles in there. Snapchat to me is garbage media. Personally, this is just me. It's garbage media because A, it just disappears instantly. It doesn't even it gets archived. But, you don't see it for after 24 hours. B, you're on the go anyway, so it's all like out of breath and shaking. Or C, it's some celebrity who has someone else holding a separate phone uploaded to their Snapchat account, and they're like, I'm perfect right now, and I'm about to go on stage. And you're like, all right, well, clearly your entire life is staged. You're perfect for this. It's the target audience for the ADD teenager.
So
And
what
it's
you're saying
great.
is you use Snapchat.
What I'm saying is, I hate the app because it drains my battery too quickly, and I can't use it and it makes my phone hot. And I do like their augmented reality software. They've gotten really good at that. That is a really
They have.
interesting
It
feature.
is. It's awesome. The
I
face
like
swapping.
I love that technology.
That's probably the best thing Snapchat's done.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
amazing.
that technology. The technology behind it is fantastic.
Now, what's driving it right now is that technology.
Yeah.
Because it's
Right.
you've got a captive audience.
I
You're
wanna
playing with
say-
that. You're staring at. They have the sponsored, whatever they're called, layovers. You have the sponsored layovers, and so someone's staring at the McDonald's logo or the Lexus logo for a good 15 to 30 seconds, and so.
Yeah,
They have a way to measure that.
because
They have eyeballs.
Snapchat just launched as a publicly traded company.
Right, they just did.
And it peaked at 28.84 on Friday, March 3rd at 11 a.m. So they're getting traded at a higher value than the New York Times. At
But
about
this
double
is all
value.
dependent on
Yeah.
how many shares.
And it also, are they going to continue like this? Are they going to be able to hold it out? What do they actually do?
But I think it's pretty telling because once Facebook went public, theirs was way overvalued, and then you look at the graph and it crashes straight into the news. So
and then people were like, "Oh, we know
that's
why we're
the-
investing now."
that upward
Yeah.
momentum is.
They figured out that Facebook is worth investing in because of ad revenue. It's the largest information collecting machine. It's Big Brother, but we volunteered for it. I hate to sound like that guy, but
It's true.
I love Big Brother, the show.
My aunt does too, man.
Oh,
Do you really?
She's
I was watching it for
obsessed.
quite a few
I didn't
seasons.
know it
I've
was a
watched
thing.
season 2.
Oh my
best
god.
friend's mom loves the show. She's seen all of
I
them.
get the feeds.
it's so scripted.
It's not scripted. Shut up, Trey.
Reality TV isn't real, which leads into something that I
It's only not scripted whenever they're in between the parts where it has the we will be back shortly, and then it's like that for 2 hours, and then you see something happen for 6 hours, and then they go back to that.
Because they're doing competition, guys.
So the pause menu is the unscripted bit. That's the real life.
Basically.
Sweet. No, but that does tie into what I want to talk about with the war on media.
Gotcha.
But that's next week, right?
Is that next week?
The war on media was fake news.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I can
We can go back.
We
to
can
fake
go
news.
back.
Yeah.
I can tell you, and this actually ties in perfectly with Facebook. Yay! Okay.
Perfect.
So, what is it when satire and imagination and reality just mash, and it's really difficult to tell what's real anymore?
I don't know. Tell us, Trey.
Well, I mean, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It's honestly, when Trump got elected, everyone was like, I can't believe it's happening. And some people
Surreal.
were, it's surreal,
It's
right?
sublime. Right?
So they call it hyperreality. This is a pretty breaking field in philosophy. That the best way to explain it is Disneyland. Disneyland is constructed from the ground up to make you feel like you are in a magical kingdom. You know you're not in a magical kingdom, but you get caught up in it and you're like, it's cheery music and look, the buildings and the castle, and it's like perspective, and everyone who works there is required to smile and everyone is required to say a set few number of lines. Like, it is constructed to be Disneyland in reality. But hyperreality is this construction of reality. So one of the things that we were asked was, why is Trump making war with the media? And what I figured out was that Trump is media. Trump is a media icon. He came into our attention as Americans in the 80s when you started getting introduced to the 24-hour news network cycle, when celebrities started being interviewed constantly and became a public figure, when a face of a company meant something other than, he's a baron of tires and cars, right? So Trump is a celebrity. And he was a celebrity before he was ever a politician. Right? So I figured out that there's 4 faces to Trump. And that is the celebrity, the businessman, the person that he actually is, and then the politician.
Have we ever seen that third face?
No.
Person he actually is?
No. I think the only person to have ever seen that would probably have been his wife and his children.
And the Russian prostitutes that also peed on the bed.
Oh, shots fired.
We'll have to fact check.
Just kidding, guys.
But the reason I say that is because social media is also hyperreality.
Yeah.
You construct an image, a face for everyone to see. If you are completely 100% honest all the time on social media, they ain't gonna cut it. People are gonna get really about
I
it.
don't want to see my bathroom breaks.
They don't want that side of you. They don't want the boring side, and they show it by not liking stuff.
Alternatively, if you made a Twitter that was nothing but your bathroom breaks, it'd be fire.
For sure.
But even that's a construction.
Might do this.
reality.
Exactly, yeah, it is.
So
you're making a persona. You're constructing a persona.
Yeah.
That's with anything.
Yeah. So Trump has these multiple faces that are all personas, and we all have them.
Right.
But in the 80s, when you were in charge of a business, when you were running a business, and the media became more privatized and became a publicly traded entity, the media became a business. And when you're a businessman and another business is attacking you, like Pepsi runs an ad saying, we're the best soda in the country. Coca-Cola responds by saying, no, you're not. Verizon says we have the best service in the country. AT&T says, no, you're not. CNN says that Trump is talking to Russia daily, and Trump says, that's wrong, that's fake. It's a business deal.
Right.
It's a business response to a business. I don't think we've seen Trump the president yet. I don't know if we're going to get to see Trump the president because the man is in his 70s, and you kind of run out of new tricks. Yeah. And he's not very good at, coaching. He doesn't take well to that. He tends to just do his thing. So I don't know if we're going to get to see Trump as a president, but I can tell you that Trump's war on the media, quote unquote, is classic business strategy. It's no matter how much they throw at you, all you have to say is, no, that's just, no, it's not true. So,
yeah.
Hyperreality.
And on that note, I think it's telling that he uses Facebook as his main means of communication.
Twitter, yeah.
Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, he uses social media to talk to you. And also, that's the other thing. So, the difference between, because all politicians use hyperreality, all politicians have a message that they're spouting, right? Everyone has an agenda. The difference is, Trump has 2 Twitter accounts. First of all, Trump is on Twitter. Our president is on Twitter, and he is posting daily. Second, he has an audience larger than any president before him because he is on Twitter. He's no longer just making State of the Union addresses. He's no longer just doing photo ops. He is just speaking into the ether, and people are listening. Whether you like it or repost it, you are listening to it. So that is bringing his reality, his hyper-reality, where he's saying CNN is fake news, New York Times is failing, into reality. And that can affect our reality. His hyper-reality can then become
There's
reality.
a name for this.
Yeah.
It's called mainstreaming.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the fake news media stuff that we were talking about earlier, but There's people on Facebook, they post something. There's these fake newsy websites that are like blogs. They're not real. There's not a lot of money in them. They post they take that, they recycle it, they post it.
Yeah.
That post gets picked up by the AM Talk radio people. They run with that story. Then you have Fox News picks it up and they run with the story. And then Donald Trump sees it and then posts it, and then it goes back to the people on Facebook. And it's this cycle of these stories just get upcycled essentially, and they get passed around, and it's a vicious cycle.
When
mainstreaming of these.
When I was in community college, I was being dumb, and I think it was April 16th. I decided to try spreading a rumor, and I said, Snooki died. You know, Snooki from the Jersey Shore. I was like, she's dead. Snooki died today, guys.
All
And
the celebrities have been.
no one...
Well, she was relevant at the time.
Yeah. But no one really decided to look into it. They were just like, oh my God, have you heard Snooki died? Did anyone look into Snooki died? Mm-hmm. And it got spread so quickly that by the end of the day, I got online and there were articles talking about Snooki having died. I couldn't remember if it just came out of the ether in my head or if there was an article prior that had said Snooki died. It became mainstream. At that point...
you're saying you perpetuated fake news, correct?
Way to go, Trey.
That's how quickly it can go, though. You don't even have to have the intention. You can just say something that gets misheard. But when you have the power and status of the President of the United States, and people will listen to you, whether they believe you or not, they will listen to you. They will repost you. That can affect reality. If the President keeps saying that the New York Times is failing, how soon until him saying the New York Times is failing actually has an effect on the stock value of the New York Times, and they actually do fail?
So I guess we're all looking at reality like Sam here, with one eye, blind, trying to figure out what is real and what isn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah. So
on that note.
On that note, yeah, that's...
I love how we tied all that around. That's great.
bringing it back around, just like the rumor mill.
Right. So in closing, I think, Lindsay, you had a server story for us.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so...
well, explain what do you do?
So I wait tables, as most or many college students do. Not most, many. But
Most of them.
I just want to tell you one of the funniest things that I've ever seen.
Right.
And it is why I always ask, even when it's pretty obvious, if someone's done with their plate. So I was working, and I was walking by one of my tables, noticed that their dish was empty. So I just casually wasn't going to say anything. They were talking. I just casually walked by, pick it up. The guy grabs it out of my hand and puts it back on the table. I look, and he's like, oh, I'm going to finish that. I thought he was just being funny. He's like, oh, haha, you're funny.
Yeah.
Not really, but I'm going to take this. So I grabbed it again, and he did the same thing. He's like, no, I'm going to lick it clean.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, oh, that's really funny. And I didn't know. I thought maybe he wanted, like, bread or something.
Things just went like
juice.
0 to 100 and weird.
Yeah.
Like, right then.
And then I walk away, and I just kind of keep an eye on his table. Grown man, 40-year-old, in his 40s, middle-aged grown man, picks up the plate and literally licks it clean.
Oh,
no. Oh, no.
Did he leave a good tip because the food was that good? Like,
I mean, yeah, that's a good problem to have.
What was he eating?
You don't have to scrub as hard. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
unexpected.
So I always ask. So if you think it's weird if your server asks if you're done with the plate and it's
Empty.
and it's obvious you're done, maybe someone licked it clean before.
It's a good note.
Have you spotted any other people licking plates clean?
Yeah, it's a one-time thing.
Is this a trend?
That's
Does it happen a lot on Wednesday nights? Is it well, it's hump day, might as well, lick
That
pasta
was
bowl?
the first time that I witnessed it with my own eyes. I've seen little kids do it,
Oh, yeah,
but
well,
that's
a
first
grown
adult,
man.
That's
yeah.
understandable.
Unique. Well, if you're listening, man, what's
If you're
wrong?
listening.
Yeah,
If
that
you're
was
listening-
weird.
I hope it was as delicious as it sounded.
I hope so too.
Man, what do you remember what the meal was?
It was one of those places where you kind of put together your own.
Wait, so you're telling me he licked the plate clean on a buffet?
Yeah.
He could have gotten more.
Well,
Nobody even, like,
Yeah.
you just get another plate.
Well,
I mean,
why would you need
clean?
to do that? Just eat till you're full.
and on that note, guys, thank you for listening and have a great day.
Have a great spring break.
Yeah, spring break.
Yeah.
Whenever this comes out, have a
Spring
great
break
whatever it is.
It's a spring breaker.